A quick spoiler warning, because for some odd reason you thought I was gonna start this off without a spoiler warning. Haha, haha, joke's on you, you get to wait longer. So I'm gonna possibly slip up and say something about the story. If you wanna know the overall verdict, just skip to the end. I'll have it posted now. Okay, bye. Alrighty, first things first is the story and setting, right? Now the story is very slow. I already like when I first started playing it, I figured things were wrapping up, but I couldn't help but hate anything past the quick introduction as Yasuke. As soon as it went over to Naoe, as weird as it may sound, I found myself constantly disappointed and confused. Here's why, alright? There's multiple times after you get past Yasuke's part, which I'm going to consider that the introduction, there's multiple times when you get to Naui, right? Where you're like, oh wow, this chick, she's gonna be really cool. She's pretty dope. Know what I'm saying? You know, she can do all types of flips. The parkour is pretty smooth, which I'll get into that later as well. You know, the combat for her, she's pretty fast. I wonder what type of weapon she has interest or she has in her little thing. And then you get to a cutscene, and she's just garbage. She sucks. Like that. I found myself multiple times at the beginning of the story. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, you kinda suck. Like you're pretty garbage. But then, as I progress in the story some more through some side missions, I find out that Nawe was doing some pretty cool stuff before the events of the beginning of the story. So now I'm just confused because now I'm like, okay, how are your flashbacks before the introduction cooler than your introduction? Like, you got caught lacking doing the most simple of things. You couldn't even do. She was supposed to get a box. Do you understand that she was supposed to get a box? And there's a guy, a big clunky samurai dude, who snuck up behind her. And then when they tussled for the box that she was supposed to keep a hold of, she got fumbled. She just got thrown to the ground. A club hit her in the face and she was cooked. Now, granted, I can't take a club to the face, but I'll be one of the dumbest individuals in the world to be a shinobi and let a big, fully armored samurai walk up and I not notice. In the middle of the night, too, which is crazy. Like, you got tailed, and on top of that, somebody snuck up behind you in full armor, and you just didn't know. Celebrating or whatever. Meanwhile, here comes Yasuke, 6 months of training, I think, if memory serves me right. Black dude who got, uh, I guess you could say purchased or obtained or whatever by Lord Oda Nobunaga, right? This samurai daimyo guy or whatever, right? He in 6 months has it to where Yasuke is training under these different people, learning lessons, trying to be this pristine samurai, right? And is bulldozing through people like they're random army men toys. It's crazy. Yet you have Nawe, the assassin type, which some people are gonna be like, hey, she's the assassin. Obviously, she'd be handicapped in the whole health category, and blah 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 blah. See, that doesn't matter to me, okay? It's a matter of skill. I didn't have this issue in other games. I get it. They have RPG mechanics or whatever. Also, sure, but this is before I even get anywhere to change uh my gear loadout. You understand? Like, I'm only going based off of what the game gives me. And the mechanics are kind of the same as the other ones, I'll say that. The only thing that they have different is the combo chain or whatever. They seem like they're actual combos based off of someone's movement that you can chain together that work in fights. That's kind of different, right? But as far as everything else goes in the story, building up, it's very slow. And I typically don't care for slow story build-ups, but I've been trying to get this video out for like a week now, okay? And I can't see, I'm not even done with the story yet. This is what's making me mad. Like, I want to go through the whole thing properly, and from what I've gathered, your story can progress and change depending on uh the side missions you do, the decisions you make as either Yasuke or Nawe while you're doing these side missions that also connect into the main mission, even tuning into certain events or conversations in the city of which main antagonist may reside at the time in which you progress in the story. Tuning into small stuff like that can largely affect how you go into um like conquering a territory or clearing a base or whatever. Like it's not a huge oh wow like this could have drastic changes. It's more of an intel thing. Like the more you keep an ear out or whatever, the more you are aware of certain things like oh there's a secret entrance over in this area. If I go and talk to this family that used to work under this debt collector or whatnot, you know, or if you get rid of the debt collector and some of the men that's watching him, it weakens the forces of a base that's in an area. Like small things like that contribute to the story overall, especially when it's level based. Something that big can largely affect how difficult doing some of these things go. The reason why it matters, even after your difficulty is already preset, is because uh they have in-depth like settings for your game. So you can have the guided version or the unguided version. And all it does is help with the navigation system. Everything else after that, you're basically just choosing to to what your gaming experience is going to be story wise. Well, and another thing that they have in the settings is this thing I forget what it's called, but it's like a canon event setting, right? It's at the beginning of the game. They let you decide whether or not you get the canon story regardless of what you do, or you get an ending from the story depending on what it is you do throughout everything else. Whether you go around terrorizing people, whether you go around just not accepting allies. It's kind of like they give you the option to choose the canon event or the option to choose whether or not you want to go the light side or the dark side on whichever your options are. Because there is a lot of like Star Wars-esque energy here. Speaking of different things that don't belong in this game, I'm pretty sure they put the cabbages guy from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, you remember him? Yeah, I think they put like his cousin in here because I was casually running around minding my own business, and bro was over here talking about some my radishes. Alrighty, so next up is gameplay mechanics. All right, now as far as combat goes, I touched on this a little bit a second ago, but as far as combat goes, it's split up into two different categories. You have the stealthier approach, and you have the more, you know, in your face, brooding Hulkamaniac version of fighting people, which comes through either Nawe or Yasuke. Yasuke is your big brute and you hulking through everybody, and then like Nawe is your silent shinobi type, you know, ready to sneak up on somebody in the bushes and then tickle their toes with a feather. And it's and to that extent, it's pretty cool. I know Assassin's Creed on multiple occasions before, not on multiple occasions, really on the one occasion, really, with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, did they do something where you switching your character is supposed to change the fighting style a little bit in some aspects? In Assassin's Creed Shadows, it changes drastically, right? You're hard stuck with certain weapons. Certain characters move differently. Some people fight faster, some fight slower. I don't know why I'm using plural things when it's really just the two characters. Yasuke fights slower, moves slower, cannot parkour really to save his life. He's like a slow bear trying to get over anything, whether it be running, parkouring, fighting people. Like, fighting as Yasuke is very satisfying. Doing anything else aside from fighting is very boring. Whereas Nawe, doing anything else other than fighting people in this game is satisfying. I say that for the people who like fighting people and just getting rid of them, thinking it's cool. Unless you're a higher level than half the guys you're fighting, which the game does follow your level. The game progresses with you, kind of like this is Gotham Knights or whatever. So don't think that everybody's just gonna be a cakewalk. No, 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 no. To some point or another in this game, it requires skill. All right, but for the most part, it's no way you're gonna be having a tough time fighting people because there are people that can just reverse. They can stop you from trying to assassinate them. If you walk up to somebody and you see that there's a red assassination label or assassinate label there, don't do it because these guys will stop you in your tracks from wherever and they will treat you like the rag doll that you are. They will throw you to the side abruptly and fight you head on. Trust me when I say that on multiple occasions I have not been that guy. Alright? There have been times I've gone into a fight based off of my previous histories in these games, thinking that I was just gonna come out the walking living legend, and these guys will jump me. It's like another day in Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, my bad. No, not Ghost of Tsushima. It's just another day in Assassin's Creed. Because there's no reason for these guys to abuse me the way they have been. It's not nice. I don't like it. And I wish I could do something about it. But no, I feel like that one friend that gets beat up is like, alright, bruh, just wait, I'm gonna get my dogs on you. Because there's been several times already where I've been in a fight and I've switched to Yasuke just so the fight can be easier for me. Because again, I've been trying to get through the story or whatever, not because I don't want to get beat up anymore. Because who would want to switch away from a good fight, hard difficulty, give away that good technique? And it's not. Wait. Okay, up next is graphics and art design. So I'm not big on graphics, and maybe it's a texture thing for me, really, but I don't really like how Assassin's Creed Shadows looks overall. You know, there are times where it'll have its peaks, like the little side missions where you do the little rhythm button typing memory thing, and then it goes into like an artistic ink on paper art style. Like, that stuff is cool. The photo mode filters are cool for the game, but overall, while I'm playing the game, I'm not too crazy about how everything looks. Aside from when it's snowing, I really like the winter in this game. I guess I just like snows and forest. That just really gets my gears going for real. But aside from that, majority of the game, I'm not too crazy about how it looks, and I get past it on a regular basis because I'm not here for the graphics. But it is something I notice I'm not for. Whereas in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I like the way it looked. I like the way it looked a lot better in the previous Assassin's Creed games, like Assassin's Creed Mirage, Valhalla. Um, what's another good one? Assassin's Creed Origins looked pretty well, which sometimes when I'm playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, it reminds me of Origins just because of how everything looks. People look like kind of mush Play-Doh. It's kind of weird a little bit, but I get past it. There's nothing too crazy about it. Um, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna stay on this one too long, mainly because this isn't my thing. I just know that it's not as appealing to my eyes as previous games were. It has its moments though when it's raining. I'll say that. But for the most part, I'm not really feeling it. Okay, so moving on to sound and music. Now, as far as music goes, I don't know how to feel. Because the music is pretty okay in the game. There's one point in the story that I like specifically where I guess Yasuke and Naoe are in the same area, same little fortress area or whatnot, and Yasuke comes in. The song that he has coming in is pretty cool, but like with that song and many other songs in this game, I can't help but feel like it's kind of out of place. And maybe because it sounds like they're making a more modern version of some of these songs that are supposed to feel traditional to an extent. Like they feel like traditional songs were thought of and then they wanted to throw a modern remix into it. And if they weren't on this game, I'd be like, oh, these are some pretty cool songs. But because they're in this game, I feel like the songs are oddly misplaced. While they are good, uh, I don't think majority of the songs that are in here, or at least half the songs that I've noticed while playing the game, I feel like they just don't belong in the game per se. Everything else, though, as far as sound goes, I feel like they should have just worked on their sound production altogether. Because there's times where I'll hear Yasuke or Nalwe breathing more than I hear my footprints in the game. Or uh, sometimes whenever I'm looking around for gear or whatnot, I'll hear what it is I'm looking for, but it won't be like it's not whenever I'm highlighted or highlighting it with the little look closer button, the little aiming button or whatnot. It's just sometimes I'll hear certain stuff more than I will or want to hear things, and I don't really care for that too tough, mainly because I don't know. It's just it's off-putting. It's really odd. And then the voice acting. The voice acting in this game is too inconsistent. Um it's not my favorite. The voice acting has been better in prior games. Like Assassin's Creed Mirage was pretty mid. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was pretty okay in my book. I liked the voice acting in there, especially from the female Eivor. I wasn't feeling it from the male Eivor. But Assassin's Creed has done better in the voice acting department. I think the best the voice acting has ever been, in my opinion, was in Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins had that game for real. It made me feel things just purely based off of the sound. And I, it's kind of hard to feel. It's kind of hard to say that Ubisoft probably lost their touch in that category because typically, if anything, the voice acting is decent, if not really well made or really well edited. You know. So as far as it stands right now, the uh, the sound the sound and music isn't looking the best for the game. Uh, it could be better as far as voice acting goes. The music is pretty fine. It's just the placement of some of them. I feel like they could have stuck to more of a traditional route instead of making it a modern thing. But that's just my take. I wouldn't rate the setting for everything too high in this category, mainly because it's just a whole lot of misplacements in my book. It doesn't sound right. One minute you have Nawe with like a strong accent, but there's no emotion really from her or from some of the other voice actors. They're just it sounds like they're just reading a script. And then you also have other voice actors in here where it's like they have no accent going for them at all, but you can tell that somebody's trying. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of misplacements going on here. It just I can't wrap my head around them, mainly because I don't want to. Or I refuse to try and wrap my head around it. It's either the voice acting is either going to be good or it's not. And in this case, for me, it's not. Next up, performance. So overall, the frame rates are pretty good. I haven't had any frame issues since playing the game. Like I said before, most I've had issues with is the overall texture or the quality of how some of the things look in this game. But overall, frame wise, pretty alright. Bugs. Now I have come across a few bugs in the game, like for some odd reason, inanimate objects being in the air, floating with nothing to touch it or to catch it and keep it hanging there, whatever. They'll just be floating. There's been a few times where I've been parkouring and Nalwe, will just ignore the thing that's right in front of her face. She'll just ignore it. It's like a slick wall in front of her, and she'll just choose death. She'll choose death before safety for some odd reason. Um, Now technical quality, uh, as far as like if I ever want to do something, I can do so. Like if I take my time and I want to go and do something properly, I've had no issue when I plan out what it is I'm gonna do and executing that plan. There's been no issue, whether it be opening doors, crouching, sliding, doing random flips across finches that are now broken as Norway, uh, assassinating targets, throwing things at certain things. Overall, in that regard, pretty cool, pretty chill, laid back, no issues there. I say performance wise, the game runs very well. You know, um, I haven't had any issues yet. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case for everybody. I have heard some videos here and there where like I can't do things properly in this game because the rendering or something like that is just garbage. It just doesn't work. So I say for me, based off my personal experiences, performance is overall great. Now we're on to Se Contente. Alright. Off rip, I'm not sure if you're able to go back and replay some of these missions, whether it be the side missions or the main missions. I'm not sure. I've had trouble trying to figure out whether or not I can within the recent games, mainly because they're not as in your face as they used to be. Like, in the prior games, like before the previous big three that came out before Assassin's Creed Shadows, what they did was if you wanted to replay a mission, side mission, whatever, you'd go to your little uh, database, and you just click on the mission, press replay. In recent years, I have found it harder and harder to replay even some of the story missions. So I'm not sure if you can replay those. Now, as far as side quests and open world missions go, um, I like them a lot, actually. There's a lot of story to be told in some of these missions. There's a lot to gain as far as cosmetics go, and weapon varieties, just character knowledge and story, and character build up, or character development rather. There's a lot of that goes into a lot of the side missions that lead into the main story that I like a lot. So the missions, the content in the game is pretty cool. I've had several laughs out of the side missions that they have in here. They're not too serious. Um, which is why I find them kind of funny. I don't want an insanely serious story, but the side missions are pretty good and stuff. The only issue that I have with the missions or side missions altogether is that sometimes you'll be on one area of this big map, and then they'll be like, "Hey, we need you to go to this entirely different region to do this one mission." And then you're just kind of sitting there. It's like, well, I don't want to go all the way over there, but I kind of want to get this before I progress any further in the story. So I guess I'm just gonna have to go the extra distance. And I don't like that, especially when in previous games they had it to where the navigation mode was so simple. It was easy. Uh, you just place your marker, press and hold triangle, and then your vehicle or whatever, your horse or your boat will take you to the general area of the location, which will be within like a 20-meter radius of where it is your horse stops, which is cool. But they don't really have that option in Assassin's Creed Shadows, where you're kind of just stuck sitting outside, and then you have to Google after a conversation for whatever reason, and then you know, put in some stuff there. So as far as missions and stuff goes, that's cool. The transportation getting there, garbage. This game does not know how to climb correctly in many cases, and it's kind of sad, especially when you came from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where they let you climb everything. Very mid, very mid indeed. Alrighty. To sum it all up, I'd give this game a solid. Mm, like 6.5. Because the overall theme is controversial, so I've seen. Um, and majority of the reason why I like this game so far is because of the smaller mechanics. The story is something I haven't finished yet, but based off of what I've experienced so far, it's not the best, and this is taking into account of the lighting, the voice acting, primarily the voice acting, the songs to go with certain themes, um, and overall cosmetics and stuff. I'm putting that all into the story bracket. Now, as far as overall gameplay, like some of the parkour has been pretty smooth. I wish it was pretty okay for both characters, not just Naoe. Uh, the fighting in this game is pretty okay. I like the challenge, just sometimes I can't be bothered with some of the dumb stuff, but then again, not everything could be perfect. And by dumb stuff, I mean like uh like some of the leveling in this game. Like sometimes they won't show you their level. It'll just be like, "Oh, this is a grunt that you could possibly kill or whatever." Um the mechanics are nice. I like the accessibilities. I also like the fact that there's a cutscene narration. That thing is amazing. Love that. Uh, I like how the game overall grows with you. I wish they would add the little auto navigation to lead you to your next destination, like they had in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think that's the only game they had that for. I was very spoiled in that sense. I use that thing every time I needed to go someplace. But overall favorite aspect of this whole game is just the smaller accessories, accessibility settings. Every most of everything else is okay at times, and I find myself making fun of it more than I am just like captivated by how well they did something. But yeah, uh, watch the video. Don't like or subscribe. Don't even comment. Just look at it. Just look at the video. If you get this far, thanks. I'll do better next time. I've already tried making this video like 4 times in the span that I've had PTO for the few days. Okay, it's not great. I've gone through several different things or whatever. Just watch the video, please. Hopefully you got this far. Like I stated before, uh, solid 6.5. I'll probably leave a better verdict once I finish the story, but because I'm not finished with the story yet, I'm leaving it at a 6.5. Uh, why are you still here? I gave the verdict. Go, leave. That's it. That's the video. Oh, you're waiting for the cutscene. That's fair. That's fair indeed.
Radishes! My precious, precious radishes!